What is the open education movement and what are OER? Open education is a global movement to increase access to education and remove barriers to education around the world. The traditional model of education from K-12 to higher ed is in many ways beholden to privately held or for-profit material providers. Oftentimes, resources are held under restrictive copyrights that inhibit educators from making the most effective use of resources in the classroom. And if an educator makes a derivative work, like a handout or a worksheet, they're not necessarily able to distribute that work without the expressed permission of the copyright holder, which is often difficult, if not impossible, to obtain. The movement toward open education addresses the limitation of this closed model of education with the explicit goal of leveling the playing field for all learners, regardless of location, age, or access to capital. So what are some examples of open education? Open education may refer to any program of learning that eliminates barriers to entry. A distance learning program without an admissions fee or academic admissions requirement would be an example of open education. Open education is a broad concept that could include a small-scale community workshop or a massive open online course, or MOOC for short. One of the fields of open education receiving the most attention at the moment is OER, or Open Educational Resources. Open educational resources are teaching, learning, and research materials that are either in the public domain or licensed in a manner that provides everyone with free and perpetual permission to retain, reuse, revise, remix, and distribute. Examples of OER may include entire curriculum sets like MIT OpenCourseWare, Khan Academy, or OpenStax. Resource repositories that categorize and host other OER, like OER Commons, Open Culture, or Merlot, or individual OER resources, like works in the public domain, or works carrying Creative Commons or other open licenses. How can educators become involved in the open educational movement? Join a community. There's no need to think you're all alone. Consider joining an open ed community in your subject, or a broader group like the Creative Commons OER Forum. There you can find help sourcing materials or organizing your own project. Use OER. Faculty and departments at higher education institutions may work individually or with the help of a librarian or campus OER coordinator to begin the process of finding appropriate materials for their course. This could be as simple as an image to a complete textbook. K-12 educators may also have an on-site ed tech coordinator who can help them find resources. Or, educators at all levels may decide to find resources on their own by searching the OER Commons or an other OER online repository. Oftentimes, there is an OER alternative to commercial textbooks that can reduce the financial burden on low-income students and give educators more creative freedom for distributing their contributions to the curriculum. Share your findings. Every institution may be at a different stage of using OER. If you think other educators in your school or field could benefit from your findings, make them public. Open education is all about sharing. Create your own OER. If there's no existing OER that suits your classroom needs, consider publishing your own work under an open license. Doing so can help improve the quality of education available to all learners. For individual resources, you may consider uploading to a repository like the OER Commons. For entire textbooks or curriculums, you may consider a larger publishing platform like Pressbooks. Nonprofits like Rebus Press may help you host your project if your institution is unable to do so. In conclusion, open education is a broad movement towards reducing barriers in education. However you decide to be a part of the movement is entirely up to you. Whether you simply make use of one OER resource or run an online MOOC with an open license curriculum set, you are helping reduce barriers to educational access.